I'm Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Attic Community Theater for the opening of The Mikado by Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yes, I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm a KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you're?
Jim Huffman. I'm one of the owners here at the Attic. We started the theater about 5 years ago. I had only been in community theater for about 10 years, and my other partner Diane Smith and I met at another community theater, and we just started talking about putting a theater together kind of as a game. If we had a theater, we'd do this, we'd do that. And 5 years ago, we said, what the heck, let's do it. And we built it, and we've been doing shows, and I get to be in about 2 a year because I'm too busy running a theater to do more. I'm playing the Mikado. He is the Emperor of Japan. His son runs off because I foolishly try to fixing up with a old friend of mine. Key is old.
Okay, and not that many people do Gilbert and Sullivan. Why do you think that?
Probably because it's difficult and it's an acquired taste. This is our third Gilbert and Sullivan show in 5 years that we've done, and there is a Gilbert and Sullivan crowd that will come and see Gilbert and Sullivan and love Gilbert and Sullivan. I'd never even seen one before we did Pirates of Penzance 3 years ago, and I fell in love with Gilbert and Sullivan, and I like doing the shows a lot.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Okay. My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Chris Yushchenko. I went to Cal State University Long Beach, and I majored with a BM in vocal performance and a minor in theater. And then after graduating, I've gone on to do a couple other productions. Pirates of Penzance is the longest running one. It was a 13-week production. But then I snagged this one, and it's a lot of fun. I play Nankipu, and he's the I guess you could call it heroic character, but he's got some other interesting aspects too.
So do you consider yourself a singer who can act, or an...
I primarily consider myself a singer. I've been singing for the past 8 or 9 years, but when I'm on stage for theater is when I feel myself truly come alive. I enjoy the stage.
So what's that like, being a musician who gets into an acting role? Because you could be doing a concert, or you can be just playing the piano or something like that. What's different about musical theater opposed to where you just play your music or you just sing?
I think the main difference is the character. Because when you're doing a concert or you're giving a recital, I gave a long recital my senior year. It was 55 minutes, 14 songs, 5 languages of me. But when I'm on stage for musical theater, you're not yourself. You're playing someone else. So you get to find out what they'll do to different situations, how they'll react. And also it changes your voice, because ultimately when you can't express what you want with words, you start to sing. And it completely changes the music for you. Like, from the first time you look at the music to when you go up on stage, it's almost a different song. Because you're not yourself anymore. When you're first learning it, you are. And by the time you go up on stage, you're not keeping.
Yeah, most of the directors I speak to, they always look for actors who can sing. They don't look for musicians who can act, because they're saying you have to care about it. You have to do the acting. This is a story that they have to do. But I'm very curious about someone from the other side, because that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you're extremely skilled at musician. Maybe you haven't been trained that much. So what kind of process you had to go to transition through that, where you actually, acting is not an easy thing, right? I mean,
So, little story I'll extrapolate. So, when I was in high school, I originally didn't want to do theater or music at all. I was into bio, I was into evolutionary biology, all of that. And by some accident, some twist of fate, I ended up in an acting class. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to enjoy it at all. And by the time we were done with the first year of acting, I figured out that I really enjoyed it, and I wanted it to be a part of my life. Through that, I ended up getting dragged by a bunch of people that I knew, and they're like, hey, so you should try out for the musical. And up until then, I hadn't sung. And I ended up going and auditioning for it, and the teacher's like, where have you been? We're going to put you in chorus and see what happens. That led me to choir, and then I started really training my voice. And when I was looking at colleges, I wanted to have my voice be the focus. So the classical training helped me with my voice. And halfway through, acting brought me back in. And that's when I decided to do the minor in theater. So honestly, the transition, I tried to stay away from theater for a little while. It wasn't that I was trying, but I didn't know what I was missing until I took another theater class, and it dragged me back in so hard that I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to not just be myself on stage. I want to go out and tell a story. And yeah, I love what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
My name is Bryan Crawford. I've done a lot of theater around Orange County the last about 7 years. I've done Godspell, and I was Jesus in Godspell. I've done Oliver. These things were down at the Musical Theater Village down in Irvine. I've also done Little Shop of Horrors here as the dentist at the Attic. And last year I was in the, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where I played one of the crazy Scanlan. So, I was a vocal performance major in college back in Ohio. That was many years ago, right? And but I got away from music for a while and got back into music and theater, like I said, about 7 years ago. I play Coco, the Lord High Executioner.
Do you consider yourself an actor who can sing or a musician who can act?
I probably consider myself a singer who can act.
Actually, you're a pretty good actor.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I try to work hard at being a good actor and perfecting my craft. So, it's good to hear that it came out well.
Yeah. So basically, do you prefer comedies? Have you ever done a drama where basically someone dies?
The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, was a drama, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Comedy is a lot of fun to do, but I also like to do serious acting as well. I've done Scrooge, a lot of heavy themes there as well. So I like them both.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate it.
Hello, yes, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Matt Katroulis. Well, let's see. As a job, I'm a chemistry professor, and I just went into community theater a couple of years ago. I've had a great time doing it since. I was trained as a musician, pianist, viola player, and just started singing and really enjoyed it.
You got your degree in music?
No, I started trying to get a music degree and just decided it wasn't really for me. I ended up with a chemistry degree, so hard to explain here. But I thought, well, I want to be able to still do music as a hobby, so this is kind of the best of all worlds in that you get to combine acting and music, and you still can keep a day job, which is nice. So I played Pooh Bah. Pooh Bah is an extremely arrogant, kind of a making fun of the nobility, so to speak, as far as the characters go. He is essentially has accepted all the positions in the city and all the salaries that go along with them. Very, very easily offended, but still, I think, a very humorous character. Designed kind of to make fun of the British society and how a lot of people take all these extra honors and awards on themselves. So, if that makes sense, yeah.
I was actually very impressed with your performance, your singing and your acting.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that a great deal. And that's really why we do it. We really are mostly doing it to make people happy and to make sure that they enjoy themselves. And it's so rare, I think, these days that a lot of companies really do Gilbert and Sullivan, that we really enjoy, trying to bring it to people and make sure that they enjoy what they see.
Yeah. What kind of acting background do you have?
Very little. As I said, I'm a chemistry professor, so I teach at a community college up in Whittier, Rio Hondo College. And a couple years ago, they were doing Our Town, which is a very famous play. and it was one of my favorites, and I just decided to audition for it. And so I started acting a couple of years ago, and then since then I've just been taking on a bunch of roles. So I think this is about my 8th or 9th show. So, and my first one, Gilbert and Sullivan, is my 3rd show here. So no real professional training or anything like that, just something you kind of observe a lot of people doing their craft, and you say, hey, I think I can do that, and you learn there's certain things you can do, certain things you can't, and then you just work on it and do your best to make it better over time.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Joseph Zavala. Well, I grew up in Anaheim, California. Went to public schools and all that, and I got involved in music and theater in high school. I became the drum major, and I just really loved music and theater. Right now I'm going to Cal State Fullerton, majoring in acting. I play Pish Tush. He's a nobleman he's pretty high up there above the regular characters, the ensemble characters, but he's still below Coco and Pooh Bah and all them, you know.
You're an acting major.
Yes.
So you consider yourself an actor primarily and a musician second?
Yes. I originally was majoring in musical theater, but I felt my strongest suit was in acting.
Yeah, I think the director here was actually pushing towards musicians who can act, opposed to someone like you who is an actor who can sing.
I didn't know that, but I'm glad to know that I am, I guess, one of the few actors who made it into sing.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I am Brooke Lohman. Let's see, I got my bachelor's degree in vocal performance from California Baptist University. I currently am a resident artist with Riverside Lyric Opera. I've been in several choruses with them, and I played Yum Yum. Yum Yum, she is one of the three little maids, one of the wards of Coco, and she, I like to describe her as very selfish and childish, but sweet and innocent too. So all those things kind of come together and create a fun character of just it's a very fun thing to play because you get to be very frivolous, very young.
Do you consider yourself an actor who can sing or a musician who can act?
I would consider myself a singer who can act first, yes. My first love was singing, and from that, performance comes after that for me. So I love singing and music first, and then acting. So I can do it, I have to act as well.
Most people I've spoken to actually say they have to go with actors who can sing because you have to care about the character. Usually you can fake singing. What do you think about that?
Well, personally, since I got my degree in vocal performance, I'm very much about singing first, singing properly. I do opera, and that is my first love in a way. And for me, from that comes the acting because the music gives me the character and I interpret it how I see fit. But the music is what's first for me. So.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Becky Daher. I have been singing all my life, and I've worked on several Disneyland projects, Dickens Carolers, the 25th and 30th anniversary shows, doing recordings with them, Dale Evans and Roy Rogers, some soundtrack things. I've been in Pirates of Penzance, Cabaret, All Shook Up, and I worked for 34 years as a forensic specialist for the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and I'm retired now. I play Katisha. Katisha is the evil elderly betrothed that the Mikado promised that his son would marry.
Do you prefer this kind of singing, or would you prefer opera? Would you prefer something more mainstream, something more contemporary?
Well, one of the things that I have done in the past, I was the lead singer for a 18-piece big band, and that is my forte, is jazz and 40s type music and big band music and more contemporary things. I enjoy doing that kind of stuff, but I also love opera, and I'm classically trained, so it's not a terrible stretch for me, I suppose, but I do enjoy the big band music, singing the big band music.
Okay. Yeah, I think your acting, you actually did very well. I'm actually a fan of villains and how complex it is, and actually you being the villain, you actually performed it pretty well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that because I've mostly played villains So it's a lot of fun, and it's fun to get that reaction out of the audience and see them look at the character and say, oh my gosh, she's horrid. So, and then kind of turn it around at the end where everybody loves her.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
This is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Stacey Holmes. I'm the director of the show, The Mikado. Well, I've done community theater for many years, actually since the 1960s, and since retiring, I've had the opportunity to do it a little more frequently here at the Attic Theater in Santa Ana.
And, could you tell me a little bit more about the Mikado also?
Well, the Mikado is the most often produced show of Gilbert and Sullivan, the famous British operetta farce team, if you will, from back in the 19th century. And it is really a British comedy. It's a farce of British society, but it's set in Japan just to be different as far as I can tell.
Okay. And your job primarily was casting?
My job was casting the show and staging the show, and of course selecting the crew, the music directors, and everybody else.
Okay. What were you looking for in the cast?
Well, since it's halfway between a musical comedy and an opera, we have to have singers of unusual capability, and we were very fortunate. We attracted a cast where many of these young people have graduated from opera programs, have graduated from voice programs at the baccalaureate, or the graduate level, and all of the players have a lot of experience in theater and with music.
Then are you looking for actors who can sing or musicians who can act?
Well, in a show like this, you're really looking for musicians that can act. I mean, there are other productions that are more musical comedies than they are operettas, where you have to have more of a balance. But the vocal demands in a show like The Mikado, or really any of Gilbert and Sullivan's operettas, are so high that you really have to have your first standard be people who can really, really sing and really know their music.
Some people would disagree with you upon that. Would you care to engage those people in the debate?
Well, no, they're entitled to their opinion, and indeed there are productions of Gilbert and Sullivan musical comedies where, for example, they don't use all the harmonies. They have the singer singing in unison, and they simplify the music, so it becomes more of a musical comedy production. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's another style. What you saw here tonight was everything in the Mikado, every single note that was written, and we did all of the harmonies again as written. That raises a very high and frankly unusual musical standard for productions of the Mikado.
Yeah, actually, I was satisfied with actually the musical side of it.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. It's we worked hard to find singers that could do it, and worked a very long time in making sure we got the music exactly right.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Hello, yes, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
Sean Taylor. I'm the musical director for this show and also play Coco. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a master's in music ed, and I attended Cal Baptist and Cal State Fullerton. I am currently a high school choir and drama teacher in Anaheim Union High School District at Magnolia High School.
Okay. And as music director, do you just primarily show them the songs and how to sing?
Well, my wife and I, Laura Taylor, and I both, we did teach some of the songs, and we did some vocal production notes and help them, get balance, and also, as Stacey indicated, make sure that the music was appropriate to the style that it was intended, and with every note included. And so it was. We tried to keep it strict to the way it was written.
The director in his casting actually concentrated mainly on musicians who can act. I've seen a lot of other, directors basically say that they always concentrate on actors who can sing just because this is theater, and they have to care about the players and all that. Do you think that was kind of cheating for you because now it's a lot easier for you?
No, definitely not, because I've been doing lots of opera and other musical theater productions, and we always can help each other out with opinions and vocal tips and ideas, and so I wouldn't say it's cheating, but it's definitely using high quality to get the best possible performance. Definitely we want to produce a product that is the community is going to love to come and see again and again here at the Attic Theater.
Actually, musically, I was actually satisfied with the musical performance of everyone.
Yes, well, thank you. Yeah, I was able to acquire some of my really highly qualified opera friends, and then there were some others that came to the audition that were extremely well qualified. We have several of the people have graduated with vocal degrees, and so yeah, we have some real high quality musicians, and this production has been excellent to work with them, and my wife has enjoyed her role in this as well.
Great. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Laura Taylor, one of the musical directors.
Oh, really? And what does your duties consist of?
Actually, my husband and I, first time working together, making sure all the cast knew all the music and all the parts were there, and singing it well for you guys.
Okay, well, what do you think of the performance?
Oh, I thought it was great, especially knowing all the hard spots that they had, in rehearsals and stuff. I thought they really did great tonight.
Yeah. Well, I noticed they concentrate mostly on musicians opposed to actors. Do you think that's cheating a little bit? Because, this is musical theater. They really should be actors.
I actually think a lot of the musicians are actors both. A lot of them do both, and a lot of the actors here also do lots of different stage productions with just acting, so they kind of mix them both together. So I think it's a perfect mix of both worlds.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay, thank you.
The Mikado by Gilbert and Sullivan will be playing at the Attic Community Theater from March 5th to the 29th. For more information, go to www.ocact.com or search for AMB Theatre on Facebook. Good night.